Hi Emma, this is Jasmine from the Academy of Animated Art, and I am here to give you some shading feedback. Okay, so looking at your latest update, let's see, you changed material right here from metal to wood. Okay, contrast texture-wise, I definitely see some contrast there. And you're not sure how you feel about the windows. You tried to make them frosted glass, and I see some good reference here, but you feel like they're reading as metallic. Okay, so let's take a look, see. So if I click on this and take a closer look, okay, I like that you changed it up to wood. The biggest thing that's standing out to me is, number one, the scale here of the wood details, the wood texture. It's definitely too large for the scale of the building. And scale is like one of the biggest things that I also struggled with when dealing with shading and texturing. And it's one of the most common things. Like, how do you get things appropriate to scale with the size something is? So this, you're seeing, it's very big, but the size of this piece, the scale of it would be much smaller, much more micro. So I would reduce that. But then also what I'm seeing is like the direction of this is feeling off, right? If you're thinking of like, if this wood piece, I guess, is actually curving like this, one, it'd either go along with the curve, right, as like an organic wood piece would, or even so, like, I feel like, I don't know, would a wood piece work like that? And then you see like the texture changes, like this is going in this direction, and then up here it's going more parallel. So I'd really examine that, like look at the structure of how wood is made, like how is it built, how would it actually be built, what direction would the texture be going in, and also the scale of the texture. So take a look at that, kind of step back and get that grounded first, and I think that will help you a lot. And also I like the detail that you like, the distressing that you have going on here, but it's a little bit I think too dramatic. It's feeling like I'm seeing it and it's feeling a little bit forced. So I would try to make that a little bit more natural, more gradual. And as for the windows, I think you're right. Like, I'm not reading it as frosted glass. The biggest question for me is like, what is it reflecting right now? Is the environment green? Because I'm looking at the background and the environment just looks like a grad, especially looking at this reflection here. So my first question is like, why is it green? Is the glass frosted green? Because I'm not feeling that kind of frosted glass feel, and the only reason I think like it's so green in there is it's reflecting something green, or maybe the interior is green. I'm not sure. So that is confusing. I am not it's not reading as glass right now, so I would take a closer look at that and answer those questions for me. And now I want to take a look at this and like, okay, so yeah, you have different values of opacity too. So like decide which level you want and then go from there. But I think like first look at what this, why is it turning green? And I think that will help you a lot, and that might feel why it's going a little bit more metallic. And then here, I think this is going well. The balloons itself don't feel as like translucent as balloons would, so I would double check that as well. They're feeling like super solid here. But yeah, take those bits and keep on going. I think it's looking really good. Now, Julia, sorry, did I say that wrong? I'm horrible with names. So let's look at your updated version of your astronaut rabbit. You've added a lot of dirt scratch maps all around. Is it too much? We'll see. And getting fixated on the details, so I thought I'd stop and see what you think and how to improve it. I totally get that. I get stuck too. So it's great to get a different perspectives, and the gloves in particular will help. Okay, oh, I love that you did the old and the newer version. Okay, yes, looking at it, I love the scratches. Yes, you might have got a little too far on it, and it's not a bad thing. I think it's more just the like on the specific front area here, I think you can reduce it by like 75%, right? because I do like how clear this is, especially when you're going to get that reflection, but it is nice to have a little bit on there. So like, I actually like, this is actually part of the way I work sometimes, is like, I like to overemphasize things just so I know they're there. And then I know that I'm doing that, and then I'll bring it back, you know, like, I'm like, okay, it's there, I'll pump it up, now I'm going to bring it back. So for you, this is kind of where you are, like, okay, you got all this great detail in there, now let's bring it back, right? So the same, like, especially here in the suit, the bump or displacement, too much, right? Let's bring it back. Let's bring it all back slightly. But I think, you know, the detail is there. The one thing I will say, if, you know, you're doing this in substance or whatnot, is the scratches. I know it has the ability to be like, the wear is more organic, right? Like you can isolate scratches to be more along the edging. So like here in this area, I would utilize that. I'm liking these ears a lot better, I have to say. I think they're working out really great. I'd watch out. This is feeling really hot here. So I'd watch out on the material, especially if it's the same light that's hitting this, that's hitting here. Like, that is really hot. Like a value, I don't have a value picker here, but I think it's over a value of 1, I would suspect. So I would watch out for that, because when it comes to lighting, it may give you problems. And as regards to gloves, oh, that's really interesting that you made kind of the stitching lines. I like it. I like that detail. I mean, that's a great improvement. Like, they're reading definitely more as like cloth to me, where this is more like cement. So I think that is working well. The one thing is, I would also bring this down. I see that you're probably putting in, this is more a design aesthetic, where it's like the orange of the suit, right? And that's working. It's pretty cool. But I don't know, part of me just wants to keep that gray, like a darker gray, more subtle. But that's, again, that's subjective. So go with what you think. Oh, and I like what you did with the cord. Look at that. That's awesome. And the detail here also. The detail here, bring it down. The bump's a little bit too harsh. But yeah, the cord is amazing. I love it. That's a model, right? I assume. I'm like, that's not texture. You remodel that. But yeah, overall, I think it's going really well. Taking a look at your reference again. And oh, I see you added new reference here for the gloves. See, look, these gloves are more of a grayish. I like this better. I think you should go more towards this. But of course, again, aesthetic. So if you want to stick with the orange, I would just reduce the, again, the overall thing is just reduce everything by half probably. Like this and that, and also even here. But overall, it's great. I think the progress is really good, and I'm excited to see this little guy lit. Okay, if you have any other questions, you know where to find me. Until next time, bye guys. Happy lighting.